All right, good evening. This is Ernest ODell with the Instant Rewards uh, Back Office Live Training. Every Wednesday and Saturday evening from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, sometimes we run over because we have some question and answer, and sometimes we get started late because we have some question and answer before the session gets started. Hello, James. I see James is here with us tonight. I'm going to unmute everybody for just a few minutes. James, if you came in just before we got started, we was talking about some Louisiana jokes and talking about Justin Wilson. We just, this is the way we kind of do things around here. We get started sometimes with just a little question and answer, and, do a little inspirational stuff. I know David over at U.S. Home Workforce, he would have a little Napoleon Hill or Andrew Carnegie or Dale Carnegie, something, playing, and have a little 15-minute session to kind of get people pumped up. Here we just, tell stories and jokes. Okay, go back down to mute. Down, everybody's mute. Nobody's talking. Everybody's bashful tonight. We're going to be talking about doing some Craigslist and foolproof advertising on Craigslist. I just got kind of a little 11-page presentation here. Serves as my notes. Now, get back over here. I'm showing people earlier, how this guy, put up an ad on free quotes, for his computer business. No, James, I couldn't hear you speaking, so you might check your audio settings, see if you were on mute, because we had one earlier that had her speakers muted. She couldn't hear us, but we could hear her. But anyway, get back to foolproof advertising. And I was sharing with a young lady today how I used to go door to door in these business complexes and even in office buildings, never got run out, even though many municipalities require you to have a peddler's permit if you're going door to door like in a residential area and selling something. They do kind of want somebody to be wearing a badge with an ID and a peddler's permit. But, if you're walking in to someone's office in an office building or an office warehouse complex and you're wearing a nice suit, carrying a briefcase, people are not going to be too concerned about, whether you're just there to rip them off or, they're not too concerned about that anymore. But this, we're talking about 12, 14 years ago, okay? Actually, we're talking about 1996, 1994 to 96. So we're talking almost 20 years ago, almost 18. And I used to do the same thing when I was in Houston 30 years ago. I just, go door to door from business to business, and I'd hand them my business card. I didn't hand them anything else, just my business card. It had my name, contact info, and a little byline of, what we did, okay? Back then, we were just, before the internet got real big, and 30 years ago, I was just writing business programs. Businesses needed programs. We were writing stuff in C++, BASIC, Fox Pro, the early days of Access. We had COBOL, and then, of course, when the internet came out, we just kind of migrated over to the internet and reinvented ourselves and started building applications and, Apache and MySQL, put everything up. And I used to wear out a lot of shoe leather, okay? I used to go through a pair of shoes in about a month or two, and I'd go buy me a new pair of shoes because at the time I was also selling Mason shoes through catalog. Now they don't have the catalog independent dealer anymore, so you got to buy them through their website. But they always made a big, nice little 20% profit check. I sold a lot of shoes, okay, and I bought my shoes through Mason, bought them from myself, and I got paid a commission on everything that I bought. They pay commission on, stuff that you bought too. And I loved, James, I loved being a Mason dealer, and I talked to the people up at Masons. They quit the Mason dealer program. And it was such a neat deal because, you could just order your brochures and just, stamp them with your name and stuff. And all your friends, people, they found out that you had nice shoes, they'd buy shoes from you. I was selling shoes to everything, everybody that I could think of. And this was just something, I bought my own shoes, and I always bought the thick sole Florsheim type wingtips. And, these were like, even back 30 years ago, they were like $100 shoes. Back then, $100 for a pair of shoes, for a pair of men's shoes was a lot of money. And of course I had boots too. And I'd wear them out. Yeah. And walking shoes. But I'd go through a pair of shoes and, 30 to 60 days, I had them wore out, and I had to go get me another pair of shoes. And I'd put these shoes in the shoe shop and get them resold or get them half sold. So I always had a spare pair of shoes. And it wasn't long before, the year was out, I had 10 or 12 pairs of those big, gunboats, sitting in my closet, size 12, double E, Bigfoot. Everybody called me Sasquatch because I had big feet, And Mason's was the only company I found that had my size, and they had good shoes. And I also bought some of the Brogans and different styles, but I did a lot of walking. And I walked a lot on concrete and asphalt, up and down these business parks, going door to door. Just go in, leave my card. Well, now, see, you can get some traffic, okay, like this guy here. Our team will build your website. He says, shoot him an email. I go a little bit different, okay. On one of my ads over here, we build high traffic CMS sites for your business. So if somebody is doing a content keyword rich search on titles, CMS sites, build high traffic CMS sites or something like that, they might find me, they might not. There's a way that you can come up in the searches on Craigslist. And Craigslist is probably about number 9 on the search list. When people go to search for something, they'll search up here on Google first. Okay. They'll go to Google, or they'll go to Yahoo and Bing. And believe it or not, they'll even search on Amazon and YouTube. Okay. I think I can go over here and get more search engines. Stumble upon, search tools, Instant Fox, Reader, DuckDuckGo Plus, Omnibar. You got all kinds of little widgets and stuff that you can plug in. But let's get back to Craigslist, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in my presentation. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. I don't even have a link here. I got pictures. I don't even have a link. No links. No web address. Just phone number. That's it. Call me direct. No voicemail, just call me direct. This phone over here sitting off to my right. If I'm not here, it'll go to voicemail. Maybe I should put my cell number up there. But, you know, either that or just get this to roll over. So I'd go door to door, and I picked up a lot of business that way when I was in between jobs and just getting started. And I had a daycare nursery in Atlanta that needed a database system for their parents and their little charges and their kids, and had the parents' contact info and had the billing system. And I think the whole billing system, the whole kit and caboodle was about $500. Wasn't much, but yet they were strapped for cash, and I arranged a financing deal for them. I arranged a lease for them where they could pay for this for $50 a month, and you know they could have the system paid out in a year. It you know come at a little bit of a premium because they were financing it, and they found that a little bit easier to handle if they could parse it out over $50 a month. So it worked out real great. But they always came back to me, and they gave me more business, and I ended up making several $1,000s just off of that one daycare center. And they passed me a lot of business over to, you know, to the company when I was building internal systems, you know, and database management systems for their nursery. And this was before, you know, the internet really got real big. The internet was still kind of wild, wild west. And things were still being done internally on internal networks and not so much web-based. Well, now you can do the same thing for people with, you know, a cPanel. Get over here on my domain, log in on a cPanel, and you can come over here and build, you know, databases with remote MySQL, PHP MyAdmin, MySQL database wizards. You can create databases for people, put all their content online, and let them, you know, update, delete, add, and build an interface for them where it's all web-based, okay? So you learn, and this is what I was telling this little lady today. I said, you can learn this stuff. I said, they've got stuff on YouTube. I said, you go over to YouTube, okay, and search this stuff out. Add to your skills, okay? Learn programming. Learn programming basics for beginners, okay? Learn C++, Java. Learn C in one lesson or whatever. Learn basic. Learn Visual Basic Programming 2012. That's the latest, okay? Or VB scripting. You can click on one of those selections. It'll bring up a selection of videos where you can sit there and just watch. Okay. You want to build a WordPress website. Learn WordPress step by step. Okay. Tyler Moore, there's my guy, you know. I sent him an email the other day. I told him, I said, Tyler, I said, I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel. I just send everybody over to you. He says, gee, thanks. You know, so he gets a lot of viewers. You know, I'm on his channel. I subscribe to him. Why should I try to redo everything he's done? I send everybody, you know, you want to learn how to build a beautiful WordPress website, step by step, no steps missed. Learn how to make $2,500, $5,000 building a WordPress website. Go over to Tyler Moore, okay? YouTube. let's get back over to Craigslist. We're going to learn how to do some foolproof advertising on Craigslist. Okay. Now we're going to be jumping back and forth between screens. So I'm going to kind of make this interactive. If you got questions, type your questions into the chat bar. All right. I've got, let's see, let's shut this down. I really don't need to have this. Go ahead and log out of my Craigslist, and we'll leave this up and stay on the Craigslist website, and we'll log that out. Okay. Because we are going to be talking about Craigslist, how to advertise. I have a 214-page book in progress right now that I'm editing, specifically dealing with Craigslist. I'm going to try to make, there's probably about 50 or 60 chapters in it. Each chapter is anywhere from 1 to 3 or 4 pages on an 8.5 by 11 format. It's not going to be a real big book, but it's going to be, it's going to have a table of contents. And I'm writing this specifically because, you know, a lot of people think, well, Ernest, he's just against Craigslist. No, I just don't lose any sleep over him, okay? I tell everybody, don't get hung up on Craigslist because Craigslist is a different animal. It's different and it's hard to learn for some people. You want to learn about Craigslist, go right over here. Go to their help, FAQ, abuse, legal, look at the terms of use. Find out what you can do and what you can't do by going over here. Look at their terms of use and their help and FAQ. The only thing I tell people about Craigslist is, you know, if you go in there looking for help in their forums, you're liable to get eaten. This one right here. I tried logging into help, you know, and looking for help. And man, I tell you what, it was like wading out into a shallow pond with alligators swimming around, and I had dead chickens tied around my waist. You know, those people, some of them get vicious. They're merciless. All right, so I tell people, you know, if you're looking for help on Craigslist, go over here. Okay. Go to YouTube, all right, and type in help with Craigslist, all right, or Craigslist help. Need help posting on Craigslist? Free Craigslist training course. He might be good, he might be out of date, but it's a start, okay? It beats going over here, okay? There's one thing about it. If you come to the conclusion that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, or he's guy, or you don't like what he's saying, you can always go to the next video. You can cut them off. These people, when they send you replies in the email, and they call you every name in the book, and they don't make you feel good about it, that, you know, not much you can do about it, but just, you know, delete the email and just go on. Foolproof advertising on Craigslist. Advertising on Craigslist, yes, if you do it right, it's worthwhile. If you know what you're doing. Some people don't. And this is why you see so many people on the groups get so frustrated, because, you know, they get flagged, they get ghosted, or they don't get any replies. Nobody answers their ad. There's a combination of things, okay? If you don't know how to use Craigslist, you're going to get frustrated, okay? And if you don't get frustrated, you'll get eaten. The Craigslist alligators will eat you. They're vicious, okay? Uh, and I make a note here. If it appears that I'm not a real big fan of Craigslist, you're right. I'm not. I'm not a fan. I'm probably a little neutral on them. I don't lose any sleep over them. I use them. I've learned how to use them effectively without getting my chops busted, without getting flagged, and without getting ghosted. I actually have some dual content in the same category in the job postings or the computer services that I wonder, how did I get away with that? Because I got duplicate content. Anyway, I use them. I just don't get hung up on them if I start getting flagged and ghosted. There's too many other venues out there, okay, that are either free or cheap. So, this misspelled should be dormant, okay, not doormat. But you know what I mean. I just don't lose any sleep on them. If I start getting flagged and ghosted, I just let them sit. I just, I stay out of Craigslist. I don't spend but about maybe 5-10 minutes a day. They're just one of the options on the list. Okay. When I use this list, this directory of free classified ad sites, you notice they're down here about number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, they're down 7. They're like 7 on the list. Okay. They're not at the top of the list. They're lucky to be in the list. Okay. I use all of these. Okay. Some of them are upgradable for featured ads. I come over here, I post $5 ads for 439 cities all the time. I get over here to quick ad, post in all cities, click on that post in all cities, log into your account. I can pay $5 and get it featured at the top of the list. This will just get it posted in all 439 cities for $3. But if you want it to stick, pay an extra $2. It's worth it. It's worth 16 cents a day. Okay. But you notice that Craigslist is number 7 down here. And search terms rank, I think they're like number 9 on the internet. Facebook is number 2. Google is number 1, of course. They rank themselves tops. But learning how to use Craigslist, okay, is the key factor that you want to learn. Just about everybody you and me both know is using Craigslist for advertising their products or services or affiliate links, whether the products are offered through an e-commerce website or physical store, business owners. They can see fast gains through advertising on Craigslist. You'll also see a lot of trash traffic, tire kickers, time eaters, wasting your time. Time is money, okay? Then, of course, you got the competition, the kid that's sitting down there in his mama's basement, because he won't get out and find a job. He can't get a date with a high school prom, so he sits down there surfing porn sites, okay? But unlike other advertising venues, there's little risk involved in posting on Craigslist. If you're not paying for a premium city ad, you're just out a little time. 5 minutes a day. They say you can post 3 ads every 48 hours. I post 1 a day. If they expire, I just go back and repost. If it was producing, I repost. If it wasn't producing, I'll tweak it and put up a new post. A lot of times you'll see on my ads with Craigslist, I'll have, let's say this one over here, customer service. I haven't put one up in the past day or 2. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I don't either. James, he says, I don't worry about what Craigslist gods say or want, and I don't either. Like I said, I just don't lose any sleep over them, okay? But here, I might post an ad on Craigslist, and I'll go and compose an automatic reply, canned response on Gmail, because this is, my Gmail account is where all my Craigslist replies would go. So when you click on an ad and you hit reply and you use your default email client or Gmail or Yahoo, when they send that reply in, it's going to hit my Gmail account. So I got Gmail set up where it's pretty much automated. It handles a lot of the tire kickers, all right? So when it boils down to, the actual lead calling me, I might get a lot of views. I might get a lot of views on, my ads, but I might only get one or two replies. One day I think I got 68 replies. Actual sign-ups, logins. I don't know what I did that day. I got to go back and look at that. That's a case study waiting to be written. Okay, so, it's not going to cost you a lot of money or time if you pay $25 on the premium cities. You've got that to consider. Post in your area, and you notice I don't post outside of Lubbock. I just, when I do post an ad on Craigslist, I don't put the city up there in the title or in the city block, in the location. I leave it blank. So it gets a little broader exposure. With the exception of job postings and housing and automobiles in specific markets, advertising on Craigslist is free. I spend about 5 minutes a day composing a new ad or tweaking an ad, putting it on, check on my renewals, and repurpose old ads and repost expirations. Okay. Other than agreeing to the terms of service of the community and following specific guidelines when posting advertisements, there's, little to no financial obligations to, people placing advertisements on Craigslist. You can go to some of these other sites, okay? Over here, you can spend $3, to post in 439 cities. You can spend $5 to get it featured and stick it to the top. You can go over here to Ad Post, and you can post over there for free. You can post in the United States, Canada, United Kingdom. You got an international product. You can post in just about anywhere in the world you want to post. You can upgrade it 4 different ways for $9.99 for a total of $39.96. And it's good for 6 months, 22 cents a day. Okay. You can go down here to getcustomerservicejobs.com and post on there for free. Post on classifiedads.com for free. Big city advertising, this is all pretty much paid advertising, and they do put them into the big city classifieds around the U.S. in different, all the states, Alabama, Montana, Alaska, Nebraska. They have online classifieds, so if you click on one of their links there, yeah, they got categories that, you can pay as little as $7.95 in one market. If you wanted to select all of these and post in all of these markets, you can do it for $39.90, and it'd run for a whole year. 1 year ad. $19.95 for the first site and a nickel for each additional site. If I just wanted to post in, one site like down here in Texas, and I wanted to put this in Houston, Texas classifieds.com. I could pay $19.95, for the whole state or for the whole city, or post as low as $7.95, depending on the category. Okay. And you see, you don't have a whole lot of competition there, but what the nice thing about these sites is that they get indexed and they get aggregated. So what do I mean by indexing and aggregating? And they get indexed into the search engines and the big job boards. They aggregate. They go out and scrape these sites. Then they repurpose all that content for their site, like Monster and Hot Jobs and Career Builder. Okay? So you can use some of these little paid sites and upgrade sites, but use a lot of free sites because they're going to get indexed. They're going to get aggregated. All right? This site right here, it's in the filed section of the groups. It's in the getting started. It's also right there, so if you need the link, you can bookmark it if you don't have it already. Let's get back to Craigslist. All right? Can you use Craigslist to get a lot of attention? Yeah, Craigslist is indexed. Okay? Now, I don't see Craigslist ads getting aggregated and repurposed into the big job boards, because Craigslist does get indexed very well. If you come over here and do a job search on Google, customer service jobs in Lubbock or your city, here's Lubbock customer service jobs classifieds Craigslist. It's like number 3, right below the paid ad. Okay. Jobs on Monster. So they do get indexed. So if you was to click on that, it's going to bring up the customer service category on Craigslist, and then you can just kind of go through. This is what we were looking at over here. Okay. Assistant needed now, paid weekly in Lubbock. This is the same site. Okay. So it's worthwhile to post in Craigslist. Here's the problem people run into getting flagged and ghosted because they don't know the rules. You got to go back and read the rules of Craigslist. All right. You want to see what Craigslist rules are? I showed you before. Right here, terms of use and the FAQ. All right. All these others you can read them if you want to, but you look at the terms of use. A lot of legalese there, but they'll tell you about what you can do, what you can't do, what they allow, what they don't allow. Okay. Spend some time, read it. Okay. Don't get on the list whining and crying. Go to the source. All right. Find out why, they didn't allow my ad, or where's my post? Why do I have to have phone verification? Or, how do I edit, or delete an ad on Craigslist? Or how do I search Craigslist? They got it all right here. Okay. So, people that post advertisements, they don't have to be, terribly concerned with whether their advertisements meet their expectations in sales or not, because you're not spending a whole lot of money. Now, if you're on one of these big networks, okay, over here on page 2, yeah, I get concerned. Okay, if I was spending $300, $1,000, on one of these big networks down here, I'm going to see some results, or I'm going to pull my money. I've always had good results with these companies, when I went and put a deposit up. Okay, but you're not really concerned about that with Craigslist. Okay, you don't have to be concerned with the return on your investment. The return on your investment is about, what, 5 minutes a day? Okay. Another reason why posting advertisements for your products, your services, or your business. And affiliate businesses, you have to be real careful. You have to get a TLD, top-level domain. Because with Craigslist, they've got certain domains flagged in their bot system, like instantrewardsnetwork.com, instantmoneynetwork.com, imn1.com, and some of these others, ZNZ Promotions. They've got them flagged automatically. So, you want to make sure that you use Craigslist properly, okay? Posting advertisements for products and services on Craigslist is worthwhile. It's the likelihood of reaching a large audience. Yes, that's true. You have the potential to reach a large audience because Craigslist gets so much traffic. There's days like today I had to go to the doctor's office. I didn't do any work today. I'm still getting leads. I still get leads in my email. I still get sign-ups in my back office. And I'm running 4 different promotions on Craigslist, okay? I still get calls from my web business. I still get calls and leads, So Craigslist, yes, they do receive a large amount of traffic from search engines, as I just showed you. And they have name recognition, all right? It's that name recognition right there that, tells people, name recognition, me, Craigslist. They've got it, no doubt about it. They receive probably about 4 billion page views a month worldwide. They're in 50 countries. Over 10 million people a month are using Craigslist on a regular basis. So from these statistics, it's pretty clear that advertisements placed on Craigslist are likely to receive some attention depending on your category and your placement, okay? You're not going to get a shotgun. You do have to target your clients, okay? With so many visitors using Craigslist each month, the advertising possibilities basically are limited. However, there's no guarantee that any of these visitors are going to be interested in your products or service or in your business opportunity or, make $20 to $70 or $90 an hour or make an extra $300 to $500 a week. Not everybody that looks at that ad is going to click on it and say, yeah. Why? It's because I've told you before, most people are brainwashed to think that anything they find on the internet is a scam, okay? They think everything's a scam and a pyramid. And Craigslist even feeds into this notion with, their avoid scams and fraud. Well, yeah, it's good to avoid scams and fraud, and I've got a couple of chapters in my book on this, where if somebody from a foreign country, Africa or Kenya or Nigeria, they're a barrister and they say, you won a lottery that you didn't enter, that should set off some bells and whistles, okay? If it doesn't, then, somebody needs to take your router away from you, okay? Get you off the internet so you don't get scammed. If you don't use common sense on the internet, you can get scammed and lose a lot of money. I even have a couple of chapters in there, how to get scammed on Craigslist. Okay? Just be a dummy. Okay? But like any marketing campaign, your advertisements on Craigslist must be intriguing, informative, and in a location where you will reach your target audience. Those 2 words right there. It's like duck hunting, okay? Calling in the ducks. Bring the ducks down, kaboom. Got them in your sights. That's your target audience, okay? Well, here on Craigslist, you might have a target audience over here in services, computer services, okay? You need some Facebook likes. Get all the likes you need in a week or less. Professional web design waiting for your project. Now, can you get some leads? Yeah. Do I get a whole lot of leads off of this, off of something like this? No. Where I get most of my leads is personal contact, just walking into the office, handing the doorkeeper, the receptionist, my business card, and saying, ma'am, if your company needs any help, building an internal website or they need something, just give your boss my card, keep it on hand. Here's an extra for you if you need it. Okay, I'm not here to sell anything. I'm just, here to give you one of my cards and turn around and leave. I'm in and out in 30 seconds or less. If they got any questions, they'll ask you. Well, as a matter of fact, by the way, yes, we do, or yes, I do, or, if they have questions, they'll ask you. Don't ask to see the owner. If you see the owner, run into him. It's like the dealership. I took the car in yesterday, while I was there at the dealership, I'm walking around, with my laptop doing a video interview of everybody. Walked in, I handed Annette, my card. She knows me, the owner of the dealership. I know all the salespeople, and they know me. I'm not trying to sell them anything, but they are fascinated with the technology of what this can do. I can get in one of their cars with my computer, my laptop, or a camera and run it live. And I'm on their network, by the way. I'm on their wireless. So I can have it published in 5 minutes. So it's like, I can be walking around looking at some of their cars and doing an evaluation on their car, and I can put it up on the internet for them and show them how it's done and do it for them and probably pick up some business. All right. I don't depend totally on this. This is just a small piece of the puzzle. Craigslist is just a small piece in the big puzzle of websites. And this right here, this little bitty directory is just a small piece in the puzzle of websites that are available. I'm cleaning up a list of 3,200 right now. Okay. Removing the dead sites after I test them. Once I get all my live sites, I'll put them in, I'll plug them into one of the pages. Okay. So you can reach a small target audience on Craigslist, even though they get a lot of traffic. The key to reaching your target audience on Craigslist or any other venue is by placing your advertisement in the most appropriate location. Craigslist has specific sections for businesses, jobs, you name it. You can go, I'm going to show you something here, okay? Personals. Women seeking women, women seeking men, men seeking women, men seeking men, miscellaneous romance, casual encounters. Yeah. They got prostitutes, okay, advertising on Craigslist. And I'm not going to show you the ads, but, they're there. Okay, I've found them. Yes, in any city you can think of. I can show you some right here in Lubbock, down on 19th Street, 4th and Avenue A. Okay, they got pictures and selfies, and they'll tell you, that, they won't, just come right out and tell you that they're going to charge you $300 and, you get some. but you know what they are. You know what they're doing. They'll say, we can hook up for the night, or, for an hour or two or whatever, give me a call. They put their number up there or text me, and they'll make the arrangements offline, and it's sad because, I think it's degrading myself, for women to do this. It's very degrading to the person, but yeah, they're there. I mean, they can even, there's no limit to what you can find. Okay. But would you go over here to jobs, customer service and advertise, escort services for $100 an hour? No. I think that would probably get flagged. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're advertising in the right section in the appropriate category for your business. It's just like in my business in creative and computer services. I don't put them up in the job section. I put them down here in the creative and computer services or in the gigs. Okay, computer and creative. If I'm doing a little reverse marketing for instant rewards, I click resumes, and I see something like here locally, I need a better paying job. I read them. You do want to pre-qualify them. They will tell you whether they want you to call them or not, okay? And some of them, they'll tell you, if you're into some kind of work-at-home thing, I don't want you calling me. Okay, don't. But if they say something like, I'm DJ Pruitt and I have Class A CDL and Tanker Hazmat endorsement, I'm currently working for a landscaping company, but I don't make enough to pay the bills. Is there a limit? Call him up. He's got his number there. Okay. If you're in DC, need to make some extra cash. I'm 21, I live in Lubbock, need to make some money for bills. I'm great with kids. Call them up and say, hey, this is Ernest. I saw your ad and you need to make some more cash. You got a computer? You work from home? I got something that you might be able to do. If you'd like, I'll send you the information, let you take a look at it. And, if so, give me a call back. We'll take it from there. Some of them, it's honorable. They want to do manual labor and they want to clean houses. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's good, honest labor. But, if you want to work a couple of extra hours a day, and you got a home computer, I can show you how to cut, paste, and send, and, pay some ads, and you can make anywhere from $20 to $90 per referral. If you can turn, 1, 5, 10 referrals, a day, you can make a little extra money. Would you be interested in taking a look at it? That's a yes/no question, folks. Okay. So, that's reverse advertising. Okay. I wouldn't click on this and call them, but if they say something like, I need a better paying job, or I need to make some cash, looking for some help. Here's one, looking for a job. Any. Okay. I'm a 24-year-old hardworking male looking for a job, experience in many fields, and I'm motivated and I'm always willing to learn somehow something new. I'm a quick learner. Please call. Blam. Okay. I'd call him up. Okay. Come and say, hey, I saw your ad. This is why, you can do a little reverse advertising by using the resume section. Check people out and call them. Sometimes it may be appropriate to put in an advertisement in more than one section. This is acceptable as long as it doesn't cross the line to spamming. Okay. If there's not a specific section for the product or service that you're offering, there's a couple other options. Business owners can place an advertisement in the section for small business advertisements, where it might be found by those doing a search in this section. Alternately, the business owner can contact Craigslist to suggest the addition of a new category. they might be willing to oblige if they believe the category warrants the addition. Okay, so let's go back over here to main page. Business management, sales, business development. You might have to post, and we do, with Instant Rewards, we post in the sales and business development category. Sometimes you can get away with posting in the customer service. You do get a lot of bottom feeders there, but not so much in human resources or internet engineers. Okay, marketing, PR, and advertising, yeah. Sales, biz dev, yeah. Technical support, not so much. Okay. Writing and editing, not so much, etc. I've placed there. Part-time, I've placed there. General labor, yeah, I've placed there. Business management, admin and office, okay, I've placed ads there because, I don't place in biotech, art, media, design, architecture, and engineering. Okay, I just don't place in all of them. Out of all of these, I probably only have about 5 or 6, maybe 8 that I would place in, and some of them I haven't placed in, a long time. The difference between advertising and spamming, I think you all already know that. Okay, advertising on Craigslist is one thing, but spamming is quite another. Placing an advertisement in an appropriate section of Craigslist is acceptable. However, placing the same advertisement in nearly every section of Craigslist websites for a number of different geographical regions is considered spam. Okay? Number one, folks, spam is ineffective. It doesn't work. Okay. Frank Kern, was probably one of the biggest spammers years ago. Federal Trade Commission cracked down on him, made him pay a bunch of money back and everything. They sued him. That's how he got started. He learned his lessons. But today it's ineffective. I can open up my email right now. How I got on these people's list, I don't know. I spend a lot of time unsubscribing from these lists, and I still get them. And if they don't take me out of their database, I mark them as junk. And they keep going to my junk folder, and they keep getting deleted. I don't know why spammers waste their frickin' time, sending out spam, because it's ineffective. I don't need to go over the reasons. First of all, potential customers who see a particular advertisement in a number of different locations are likely to recognize that spamming technique, and they're going to be less inclined to patronize your business. All right. Number two, which is actually number one, if Craigslist detects it, guess what? You're going to get flagged or potentially banned. Okay. Flagged, ghosted, banned, kicked out, and they'll tell you, you don't want to post outside of your area. This right here does not mean that you can post outside of your area. I'm in the Lubbock area. Okay, Craigslist was designed to work locally. Now I'm in the Lubbock. Lawton is in Oklahoma, northwest Oklahoma. Odessa, Oklahoma City. Pueblo is in Colorado. This is not local, folks, okay? This does not, just because you see these nearby Craigslist, that means I can search, okay? So if I'm going to be moving in this area and I want to search for a job in this area between, let's say, Wichita Falls and Abilene, yeah, I can go and look, all right? Let's go up to U.S. states and go to D.C., Washington, D.C., and see nearby Craigslist, I can see Washington, D.C., where I'm at. I can go to the District of Columbia. I can go to Northern Virginia. I can go to Maryland and probably get away with posting in those areas, and maybe Annapolis. But I think it would be a little bit of a far jump to post in Philadelphia or Jersey Shore, okay, or Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, or Fredericksburg, or Charlottesville in the Carolinas. Come on, folks. You know, you can search there, but that does not mean that you can post there. All right. How do you figure that out? Well, you go back over here and you read their terms of use. Look at content and conduct, okay? Posting and accounts. They'll tell you where you can post, how many accounts, and you might even have to have a PVA, a phone verified account. You know, they'll even tell you about flagging. You know, they catch you flagging for no reason at all. You can get blocked for that too. So, you know, for anybody that wants to go in there and flag your competition, be careful. They have a way to sniff you out by IP, and they can report you for false flags. You know, it's sophomoric and it's infantile. Okay, so don't do it. This does not mean you can just post in those areas. You can search in those areas if you're looking for a job, and that's what it was, you know, pretty much designed for. But if you're wanting to post, you know, in, say, New Orleans is a premium. If it's bolded, it's a premium. So, you know, you get in there and you want to post an ad and post a classified and job offered, and you want to go to, you know, New Orleans, you either have to log in or go into a phone verified account. Some of these are, you know, like down in New Orleans, you know, it'd be free to post there, okay? But, and I didn't log in, okay? But, let's say we're in New Orleans and we want to post in Monroe, okay? You might be able to get away with it. You might not. Lafayette, Lac Charles, that's how they say Lake Charles down there in South Louisiana in French. Cajun French, they don't say Lake Charles, they say Lac Charles. You got that in Houma. Well, Houston, that's not in Louisiana. It's just right across the border. Okay. Jackson, Mississippi, Galveston, Texas. Okay. 40 minutes, yeah, from Kinder. Central Louisiana, you might be able to get away with that. Maybe Beaumont, because it's right there on the border. Baton Rouge, Red Stick. Austin, Texas, you know, this is not, this is not Louisiana. Austin, Texas is Central Texas, okay? Little bit out of the IP, and this is what they tell you about posting on terms of use by, you know, posting your content. If you do a search for IP, here, multiple IP addresses, okay? You know, they tell you don't try to circumvent us with technology, you know, with hide my ass and line proxies and all this. People do it anyway. There's a way to get around it. You can create multiple browser tabs. You can switch IPs and, you know, post in a bunch of different cities and categories. You can use Anonymox, you know, to a certain extent on some sites to view sites, but not to post with. If you're going to get into proxy services, two real popular proxy services are Hide My Ass and Lime Proxies, okay? Lime has a bunch of virgin proxies, okay? Hide My Ass, I'm telling you, Craigslist has already gotten on to this. They know a lot of these proxies. They've got a lot of these proxies blocked. Yeah, they got 49,000 plus, you know, virtual proxy addresses, 55 different countries. They got a bunch of them, you know, right here in the States that you can use. But, you know, I get plenty just running one account in one city, and I leave the, I leave the site open. So when I log into my account over here on Craigslist, and let's see, we're in, go down here to Lubbock instead of Lac Charles. We'll say Lubbock, go. It used to be up here. We'll say job offered. And let's say sales, okay? When I fill out my ad, I put my ad title, my posting title up here, okay? And then I'll put my ad in here. I'll leave the specific location blank. And I do that for a reason, because I get broader exposure, all right? So there's one lesson on some foolproof advertising. And if you noticed, when I got logged into my account, it's been a long time since I gotten flagged, okay? If I got logged in here, I can renew these, go back, hit this, back, renew this, back here. All right, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. Okay, I got 5 more. I can renew them all, and I don't get flagged. Okay, these are expired. Okay, these I deleted. The red deleted means it got flagged. Okay, so this was back on June the 22nd. I probably posted a dual ad by mistake in the same category, or I had a competitor, flagging me. I can't repost it, but I can repost these others if I want to. Okay, so I'll have the replay up tonight, and we're almost through here. So, there's a lot you can do on Craigslist. I thought I would go over it, and I will get the book finished. I'm working on a book. So if I come up here and open up my folders here, get over to my server, show you what I'm working on. All right. Get over to Rocketfish, and I got Craigslist articles. Okay. It's going to be called the Craigslist Success Manual. Okay. This right here, it's in Word doc format. It's 1.3 megabytes. All right. So if I was to fire this up, I've got table of contents, I got section headers. I'm going to be putting in pictures, screenshots, Uh, I'm covering about, well, let's see. Let me just open it up for you real quick. We've been about an hour now, so I don't want to keep y'all too long. But let me fire this up. And I like OpenOffice because OpenOffice has a little plug-in where you can just turn it into a PDF. And if you have clickable links in your document, you can make redirects. And let's see here. This is still under construction, so, you know, we've got a lot of coverage here. And get down here. And I got contributing authors in here. So I'm giving them a little exposure on some of their articles. If I wanted to insert let's see, insert index. I take everything that I've created into an H1 header. It's going to create a table of contents for me. Okay. And I've got 3 pages of table of contents. There's probably if I copy this, open up spreadsheet, and see how many lines I can come up with. So there's like 47 lines. So I almost have 150 chapters. Okay. Close to 150 chapters, about 200 pages. If I come back over here, it's 223 pages. By the time I get it edited down, I'm going to try to keep it down to about 200 pages. You know, and use some of these and give some of these contributing articles and authors some exposure. But they've got some good work. I'm going to have to, you know, move some things around. But knowing the biggest secrets about how to make money on Craigslist, cashing in with Craigslist, a newbie's guide to flipping items on Craigslist. I'll edit it down, give them kudos, get a link to their website. So I give them some link juice, okay? And just, you know, put this out free. You know, give it to people. They can use something like this, okay? It's just going to take some time to reformat it. But this is what I'm working on, okay? What I would like to do is take the content from each chapter and do something like Craigslist Marketing 101 and make a tutorial out of it just like we've done tonight with this, okay? Make a video tutorial out of it. Takes about 15, 20 minutes and put them up on the YouTube channel, okay? Because it creates a little lesson by lesson, you know, where it's, you know, you can go up there and get some Craigslist content. Could we put in some graphics here? Yeah, if we took more time to develop it, but this just kind of serves as notes when I'm going scripted, okay? And because we had so many people asking about Craigslist help, this is going to be the subtitle, Foolproof Advertising on Craigslist, okay? So tonight when I upload this, it's going to have, you know, the title, Instant Rewards Network Back Office Live Training, hyphen Foolproof Advertising on Craigslist. This way, you know, people will actually say, oh, Ernest actually did something for Craigslist. I thought he hated Craigslist. No, I just, I'm kind of indifferent. I can do without them. I did without them for 8 years. Okay. I've done very well without them. Okay. Do they get a lot of traffic? Are they big? Yeah. But, you've really got to kind of like raking leaves. Okay. You gotta rake up a lot of leaves, before you find maybe that lost golf ball that you had in your backyard, or the kids, play toy. You really gotta go through a lot of listings. So, target your market on Craigslist. Don't just shotgun it out there. If I don't have any questions, I'm going to open it up, unmute everybody, talk to me. If not, we're going to say good night. Yeah, I've been busy. Yes, I have been busy. No questions? James? Maida?
Yes.
I'll talk to you in the morning. I got a tech support ticket that I've got to take care of